Hi there. There's a shift happening in the world. Maybe you can feel it. A lot of people are questioning what the meaning of their life is. A lot of people are questioning many things, social norms, why we do what we do. Ever since COVID, it's really amplified a lot of questioning and a lot of shifts in what people find meaningful and what people find true. Even AI. The reason why we fear AI so much as a human species, in the deepest sense, is because we'll eventually realize painfully that the thoughts that we have in our heads, who we believe ourselves to be, AI can do that 1,000 times more efficiently. And we're already starting to see that. But it's going to get deeper and more painful for everybody. Because in the deepest sense, you're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not your sensations. But they are your tools. And AI is showing us that our thoughts and our complexity of how we think can be put on a motherboard. So this uncertainty and confusion with AI is causing a lot of people to wake up and to question. But it's also causing a lot of stress because the ego doesn't want to leave. And there's going to get to be a point where many people are going to have to ask themselves, do they want to be free with inner peace? Or do they want to be confined inside their mental prison? That's why you see a lot of videos on YouTube and on the internet talking about spiritual stuff, awakening, meditation, yoga, psychic phenomenon, clairs, light workers. But even that is a trap. That's a spiritual ego. See, the ego is tricky. It wants to attach to anything. So a lot of people, including myself, was in a materialistic ego. I want the nice car. I want to make a lot of money. I want to achieve. I want to be the best. The materialist ego. And then we start seeing the unfulfillment of the materialist ego. So then we turn to the spiritual ego without realizing it. And we say, I don't want this nice car. Instead, I want this nice scenery in Bali or in a meditation retreat. and we say, oh, I don't want to make a lot of money. Instead, I want to have a lot of spiritual experiences. I want to have a lot of inner peace and deep connectedness with everything. When we had the materialist ego, we'd say, look at me. I made it, or I'm making it, or I'm doing better than this person or that person. When we get into the spiritual ego, we say, oh, look at everybody being greedy. But everyone was there once, if you're able to look at it in someone else. See, the spiritual ego is tricky because it is a higher level, in a sense, within the same game. And that's part of the trap. And then a common thing you might wonder is, well, what do I do then? If I have a materialist ego, have a spiritual ego, and my identity's been 100% identified with that, then what do I do with this ego? Does that mean I'm forming another ego if I feel like I'm past those two? And the answer is yes. And that can cause a lot of confusion. So, how do you solve that paradox? You may be wondering. Well, you look at the materialist ego, the spiritual ego, and you find the healthy things of both of them. And you integrate those. Because a lot of spiritual teachers will tell you the ego is bad, that it causes all the chaos in the world and all the suffering. And it does, if you use it, if you let it use you. If you 100% believe that that's who you are. But if you look at it as your ego being a tool with positive benefits, not only for yourself, but for the globe, then it changes your perspective on things. Because when we try to resist something, it causes more stress within us. It causes stress in our nervous system, causes stress in our body. Other people will see with their mirror neurons, if you want to take a scientific lens, or they'll feel on the energetic field, if you want to take a spiritual lens. Either lens you take, it's still the same outcome. You feel stressed because you're denying something, whether it's an emotion, a thought, a feeling, and they feel stressed because they're picking up on it and they have their own stuff that they're carrying. How long do you want to carry what you're carrying? It's a paradox. It can be scary. Because if you realize what you're carrying and you see it with so much clarity, there will be fear that arises within you. Because you realize to be free, you have to let it go. And that letting go is deeper than you realize. And there's no end to it. It keeps on going and going and going until you realize that everybody in the world is you looking back at yourself in the deepest sense. Now, you hear a lot of people talk about that, but I'm going to add a couple more things that you probably haven't heard and probably don't want to hear, but it's true. And a part of you knows that it's true. The person that is racist, the person that is homophobic, the person that's sexist, in the deepest sense, you share the same awareness. I share the same awareness. In the relative, everyday personality in life, I don't share the same beliefs or the same views, and you may not either. It's easy to be around people, humans, that confirm what you already believe. It's difficult for many to be around humans that challenge you, that stress you out. And they don't stress you out. What stresses you out is you're denying either how you feel, how you think, or how you behave. And that's what's causing you stress. And it may sound like I don't practice what I talk about, but I do. I picked up a second job. I'm going to be working 60 hours a week. They're entry-level jobs in kitchens. I'm 34 years old. I see people stressed out all the time, and I'm not nearly as stressed. Why? Because in the deepest sense, they're the same as me. We're all sharing the same awareness. And they're doing the best they can with where they are. And I watch my ego. I observe my ego. But I don't let it take the driver's seat most of the time, because it will say, oh, this person did this person did that. Why does this person do this? This person causes so much stress and chaos and all this different stuff. And oh, look at me, I'm spiritually higher. Look at me, I'm superior. I watch my ego, which isn't even my ego, it's just the ego, do that. And why do I say the ego? It's not spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing would just be using those and believing that I am a spiritual being and all these other people are asleep and I'm awake. That's spiritual bypassing. What isn't spiritual bypassing is realizing that there's those similar thoughts going through my awareness, and that many other people in the world have that same thoughts. And I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you really want to go deeper with it, when you're around different people, different humans, you ever pick up on things energetically? Maybe have a thought that comes to your head and you're just like, where did that come from? See, we're conditioned, especially in America, to believe that our skin is our barrier. Our thoughts are our thoughts. Our emotions are our emotions. But it's not the case. There's a consciousness that's global, just in the world and space and everything. And that's why you can be with someone, be very close to them, and sometimes finish each other's sentences. Or you can think about somebody and they call you up. And they say, oh, I was just thinking about you. And to put it into context too, our conventional field of medicine, psychology, healthcare, what we consider to be true, a lot of people consider to be ultimately true, has only been around for a couple hundred years. Human evolution has been around for a couple 100,000 years. So how much do we really know? And I mean, that doesn't mean that we just say science, that hasn't been around all that long. That's not important. No, we still use it as a tool. If I have to have brain surgery or a type of serious surgery, I want to have someone that has a degree. I want someone that's specialized. You know? But if it's something that's not that life or death, I'd like to try to figure it out on my own. That's my own personal way of looking at it. And see, when you realize wherever you go, there you are, you don't have a costume of trying to be spiritual. You don't have a costume of trying to be holier than thou, of trying to be deeply compassionate and deeply understanding. It just happens. And compassion, there's two different sides of it. There's masculine compassion and there's feminine compassion. And a lot of the costume that people get trapped in is the feminine compassion, which is the love and the care and the hearing people and giving them space, which is beneficial and healthy. But when it's not balanced with some masculine compassion, then there's a lack of boundaries and you become stressed and tired, and energetically you just feel off because you need the masculine that says, no, like, I need space for me. This stops here. I'm walking away, or I'm saying something. And a lot of people in spiritual communities, they don't like the masculine compassion. They feel it's too evil, feel it's too bad, feel it's not beneficial, feel like it's just icky. But they're doing a very similar thing to what religion does with sin. Now, they're completely different in terms of like one's dogma, ideology, if it's very structured like that, and the other one is more free and flowing and more welcome into diverse groups and diverse religions and stuff, and the other one is very saying this religion is the only right one. So they're vastly different that way, but there is some similarities. And so you may be wondering, why am I making this video? To show you that it goes deeper than masculine ego, feminine ego, scientific, spiritual, all this different stuff. It goes deeper than that. And all this stuff that I'm sharing, it's not me individually sharing it. It's just the collective knowledge that you can tap into. When you're ready. All right, I guess that'll finish it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button to be updated on future videos, and hit the like button if you resonated with this, and please share this video if you find it valuable. All right, take care, everybody.